Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to go over my top 15 pocket knives of 2023 under $250. And boy, was this a very, very difficult category. If you did not catch my 50 and under and 100 and under, I have them all in a playlist. It's the best knives of 2023. Go check those out. I have some other videos in there as well. These 10 knives right here did not make the list for one reason or another. We'll talk about them really quick. First, we have the REMETTE knives WD-107. This one's very, very close to making it on the list because this one shocked me. It's got an M390 blade, got a button lock, beautiful action. It performed well, loved the blade shape. Got carbon fiber, titanium, milled titanium pocket clip. Only reason this one did not make the cut is because REMETTE's still a very new company to me, and I need to be able to test their knives for a little bit longer just to feel better about my selection. Next, we have the Kansept Tuckamore, one that I really do love. Only reason this one didn't make the list is because the pocket clip sucks. There's no ramp on it. It's just a dead zone right there, so it's kind of hard to get in and out of the pocket. Other than that, love it. Contoured scales, very comfortable, very excellent utility blade shape, CPM 20 CV steel. Super smooth, super fidgety. That goes also for the Kansept Colibri Tech. Love the starburst pattern on here on the titanium on both sides. Milled titanium pocket clip. This thing is a pocket sword. It's just a little bit too big for me to EDC, even though it carries somewhat like a smaller knife because it's nice and slim and sleek. It's just a big old knife, so I just didn't carry it as much, and it's not as slicey as I usually like. Next up, we had the Kizer Clairvoyant. Just like the REMETTE, it was very close to being on this list because it's an outstanding knife. Very snappy action. You got a nice full-size S35 VN stonewash blade. You got titanium bolsters with carbon fiber covers, blind screwed milled titanium pocket clip. Yeah, this is a really, really awesome knife. Another one just like that, the AMEIGHT knives, MORAD. I like a lot about this knife. I love the blade shape, love the crown spine, love the S90V steel. I don't love the placement of the pocket clip, but they are starting to fix that. It is nice and streamlined, nice and thin. Feels pretty good in hand. Those thin scales can start to bother you after a while if you're really bearing down on it because of this hard edge. But other than that, this is an outstanding knife, especially for the $144 price tag. You're not going to find an S90V blade with all this milling and, titanium for $144. If any of these knives that I'm talking about today interest you and they are available, they will be linked down below. They are affiliate links, so if you want to help support what I do here on the channel, like help me pay for my testing supplies, I'd appreciate it, but don't feel obligated. Next, we have Demko knives 80-20.5 Shark Cub. This is the smaller version. This is a slicer blade. Now, it's not super slicey. It's not the thinnest behind the edge. And I didn't put this one on the list just because I haven't finished testing it yet. Now, these last four would have definitely been on this list, but they're not available at the moment. This is the Bridgeport Knife Co. 395 V2. 20 CV blade. Nice hollow grind. Very comfortable. Very, very smooth action. Crown spine. Love the 395. He's got another pre-order live right now, I think. Definitely go check that out. That's Bridgeport Knife Co. Then we have the Artisan Cutlery Boa. Couldn't find these available anywhere. I could be wrong. Maybe they're on the Artisan site. If they are, I will link them. Got a nice harpoon blade. S35 VN steel. Very nice contouring on the scales. And you have inlay, several different inlay options. This is the canvas micarta. Very smooth action. Love this little knife. Another one that shocked me this year is Big Idea Design's first pocket knife. This is their Thai pocket knife, they're calling it. Hollow ground S35 VN blade and a screwless construction besides the pivot. This right here holds the scales together. So a very interesting knife. I can't wait to see what they do in the future. Another one that really impressed me this year, the Tuya knives and Gem Skeleton Caladan. They came out with the Caladan V2. I didn't find any of those available left, so I couldn't put it on the list. All these knives that are on this list are available as far as the time I'm shooting this video. This thing has very smooth action, very snappy action, and is one of the most comfortable Tuya knives I've ever handled. Now let's get into the top 15. Starting out with number 15, we had the Vosteed Ti Thunderbird. This is the titanium version, and this is the newest 3.2-inch version. This particular one has a L-Max blade on it with a two-tone finish, satin flats, and blasted stone wash primary and swedge. My particular sample has a very, very snappy detent. I absolutely love that. and it's a perfect size for what I like to EDC. You got a front flipper, you got a back flipper, and of course you have that blade hole. Now mine's nice and solid. No failure on my particular knife, of course. And this one only was at number 15 because it's not as slicey as I tend to like. So for that reason, it's at the 15 spot. Number 14, we have the Tuya Knives Mutt. I like this knife a lot more than I expected. This is a CM Knife Designs collaboration. S90V steel, nice size. I still get a nice 4-finger grip, contoured scales, and they have these carbon fiber inlays, milled titanium pocket clip. The only reason this one is in the spot it's in is because the sharpening choil is pretty rough, as you can see there, and it's only going to get worse if I don't fix it. So for that reason, I had to bump it down a little bit. Number 13, we have the Kunwu Chad. This one is in a steel I've never used before, and that is PM60. And I'm pretty sure they Rockwell this to 67 HRC. So super, super hard stuff. I just haven't had enough time to finish testing on this, but it's an awesome knife. The action, ridiculously smooth. I went with the carbon fiber and the DLC blade. Now, the DLC blade is a fingerprint magnet, but I like the knife a lot. Mill-tie pocket clip that functions nicely on this one, flow through construction. He sends 2 different tension omega springs, so if you want it to be a little bit stronger, you can. I like the ones it came with. Number 12, we have the AMEIGHT Knives FLIX 2. And boy, did they do an excellent job on the V2. It has contoured scales. It has the carbon fiber fused with copper. You have the micro milling on the titanium bolsters on both sides. The mill tie clip that they backed up. You have a front flipper that actually works good now. And you also have that blade hole that works well also. You have a drop point S90V blade. And the only reason this one didn't make it any higher is because it's got a little bit more belly than I love. And I don't like the bead blasted finish on the S90V steel. Even though I haven't had any issues with any corrosion on mine, still, it's just not my favorite finish. Number 11, we have the Giant Mouse Ace Rio. And this one had a lot going for it. It's still a great knife. It's very slim, sleek, very lightweight. This one has denim micarta with a textured finish on there. Offers a good bit of grip. Beautiful blade shape. Nice low tip. Crown spine. And this one has a full flat ground MagnaCut blade. Now, the only issue with this knife is, first off, they didn't run the MagnaCut where it's not at its optimal performance range for a pocket knife. I think it's like at 61 HRC. Now, it still performed good, and it'll probably perform better than a lot of other knives with M390 and S35, but it's just not at its optimal range, which kind of missing out on the good stuff for the steel. And another thing is that these aren't ground super thin, and the edge bevel that came on mine was very, very steep. I've dropped mine to, I think, like 19 degrees now. It does slice a lot better, and I still love the knife. But, you know, if they would have fixed those few little things, this could have been possibly my number 1. Number 10, we have the Miguron Mero. Yeah, I finished the testing on this one, and this could possibly be my new favorite Miguron so far. I love the drop point blade with that low tip. You have a compound grind here. Nice deep hollow grind, so it's nice and thin here. And then you have a little bit thicker of a flat grinded tip. You got that beautiful micro milling that Miguron does so well. Nice contouring on the scales. The pocket clip, mill tie clip is pushed back. Even though it is sitting on the texture, it still functions a lot better than the ones that were sitting way over here. A good sharpening choil. Beautiful action. It has a front flipper that is very easy to flip because it sits a good bit above that frame. That jimping grabs a hold of the thumb nicely. It's a nice larger knife. They got that blade window on both sides. The only thing I wish they would have done different on this knife is I wish they would have went with the S90V steel on this one, because I've been really, really enjoying their S90V steel. This one's in M390. And, you know, it still performed great. It just would have performed even better with S90V. Number 9, we have the Vosteed RSKAOS. A really, really cool knife, and is a super popular one for Vosteed for good reason. You have an all-tie frame. You have a flipper that works great. And then you also have that blade hole that works great. This one is an M390 with a compound ground blade. I prefer the Warney blade better than the sheep's foot or whatever the other one is. Easily do some excellent utility tasks with that thin tip. The action is stunning. And what's cool about this one is that they did a button compression lock on it. So as you can see, you have the button hooked to a compression spring right there. And yeah, so nice and solid lock on this one. And it's a fun one to carry. Now, it is a little bit heavier than what I like to EDC a lot. That's the only real reason why I didn't make it any higher. Number 8, we have the Kubey Royal. That's in titanium and M390 blade steel. This is the premium one. They also have one with D2 and G10. This is a CM Knife Designs collaboration. The same guy who collaborated to make this Tuya Mutt. And he's the other half of Devo Knives besides Lefty. The Premium Royal is my favorite Kubey and my most carried and my most used Kubey knife to date. Love the blade shape. All titanium scales, milled titanium pocket clip. They even put the lock relief on the inside, keeping this real nice and clean. All titanium hardware that's been anodized blue on this one. Good access to the lock bar, smooth action. You have a good front flipper that works excellent. And you have that long blade hole so you can kind of increase that detent and easily still be able to flick it out. You can thumb flick it. I can also slow roll it. Yeah, this one has really, really grown on me and I like it a lot. My number 7 could be your number 1. If you like big knives, this is the CJRB Frack. And it's a big knife that carries like a much smaller knife. However, the only reason this one isn't my number 1 is because it's just it's big. You know, you pull this out in front of somebody and it's going to probably freak out a lot of people around you. Not something you usually care about, but you know, for that reason, it's not my number 1 choice. You have almost a 4-inch blade here. Excellent, versatile blade. You can easily get the tip onto things. Your belly is not too egregious to where you can, you know, get down into things without sliding out of it. S90V steel, frag titanium scales on this one with a beautiful milled titanium pocket clip. It is sitting on top of that texture, but this isn't very rough texture or anything. You can choke up, get a lot of control over that edge because you're right up on that edge. It's nice and slender. They pocketed out the titanium to bring the weight down as much as possible. Perfectly balanced knife. It feels very light in hand. And that action. Whew, nice action no matter how I do it. Number 6, we have the Kunwu Pulsar, and this is the one that beat out the Chad. The Pulsar is just an excellent EDC size. I absolutely love that blade shape. You got a nice crown spine, LMAX steel. You can choke up on it. It's nice and comfortable, and he just announced he's doing an XL version of this. I cannot wait. I'm supposed to be having one to check out for the channel. That's awesome, and these have beautiful action. Got that stunning diamond textured pattern on the titanium that offers some grip. This one has a deep carry pocket clip. I think he also offers a milled clip for these as well. Now we're at the top 5, and these could be interchanged in a lot of different ways. They're all awesome knives. So at number 5, we have the Kizer Knives Varatas. This is a Jacob Lundquist design, and I absolutely love it. Got this beautiful micro milling on the titanium, and this was Kizer's first flex of what they could do, and just kind of wowed everybody. You have the square pivot, that's the signature pivot, little Easter egg right there. And then the hidden filler tab for the pocket clip. I mean, you can probably see it because of my lighting in here, but man, they did such a good job on that. Titanium backspacer, milled titanium pocket clip, and the micro milling pattern is carried over on the lock side. They put the lock relief on the inside so it does not break up that at all. I like the little cutout. The front flipper works great. The blade hole works great. Got a nice drop point blade, full flat grind. S35 VN steel, excellent sharpening choil, good access to that lock bar. These things look classy. They're not going to break the bank as far as, you know, the rest of some of these other knives. I think this is like I think I saw it on Amazon for $130 something. That is remarkable. Beautiful raw stone wash on it. I love the Kizer Varatas. Number 4, we had the Flytanium Arcade. This was the first knife design that we've seen the Demko Shark Lock licensed out, and I was a little unsure about this knife in the beginning. You have aluminum scales. Mine kind of look like titanium because they're blasted. You got so many different inlay options. I have the canvas micarta. They come with a pair on, whatever ones you choose. And then they also have another one. I think I have some black G10 ones that came with mine. They have titanium thumb studs. They're the same thumb studs that Flytanium sells. The Benchmade bug out, I think, thumb stud. So if you want different colors, you can. It has a deep carry pocket clip. Nothing fancy. And I do wish it wasn't set, but this is a highly customizable knife. You could change out the inlays, the thumb studs. They have a full-length back spacer if you want to go that route. And I think they're also going to offer some titanium scales if you want those. I'm fine with these. But what really wowed me about this knife is the performance of this S35VN. Probably some of the best S35 I've tested. And I think a lot has to do with that edge bevel. Mine came with, I think, from what I remember, I think it's like 15 degrees per side, which is going to perform really nicely. Now, it is a little bit thicker behind the edge than I like, but that edge bevel made it perform very, very well. And of course, that shark lock is a very fidgety, very strong locking mechanism. Number 3, we have the CJRB Perfect Pyrite. They did a Kickstarter campaign and they had so many different versions. This particular one's the blurple anodized titanium scales with the fat carbon inlay, milled titanium pocket clip, and coated S90V blade. Love this knife. This one is probably my most carried. However, there's another one that beat this one out because it's going to become my most carried. But this one has beautiful action. It's an excellent size, nice and lightweight, comfortable in hand because of those contoured scales. Very smooth action, pretty darn slicey blade. Number 2, we have the Tuya Mutt. And I gotta say, this year, Tuya knives came out gunning. Everything that they dropped this year, I have absolutely loved. So this one is the Frack titanium version. They had other versions as well. It's a front flipper and a thumb stud deployment knife. And that jimping is excellent for the front flipper. It works great. The reason why I like this one so much is that it has a very, very deep hollow grind that is like 15 thousandths behind the edge. And this thing slices outstanding. It's got S90V steel, so it holds that edge for a good amount of time. It takes a very aggressive edge also. Those are things that I love in a folding knife. And even this flat grounded portion up there by the tip is still at like 17 thousandths behind the edge. So this thing's performed just on another level. It's got beautiful action, milled titanium pocket clip. Now that clip is sitting on top of that texture, so it is a pocket destroyer, but I absolutely love the Tuya Wrath. This is a Dave Warren design. And number 1, the knife that beat out the Perfect Pyrite is going to have to be the CJRB Ekko. And this is the newest Ekko with the contoured titanium scales. You got this beautiful micro milling that's kind of like an inlay right here that offers excellent traction, and they actually put it on the opposite side. Unlike this one where you have the fat carbon inlay here and nothing on this side. I love whenever they carried the texture over on the other side. Now, it would have been great if they would have put a little flat spot underneath the pocket clip, but I don't think this one's going to tear up the pocket that bad. I love their milled tie clips. They do such a great job with that contouring. You can see how it's like crowned over here on the top. S90V blade on this. It's going to hold an edge for a good amount of time. Front flipper works great. You can do the reach around there. Love the Ekko. This is a Ray Laconico design. I even love the flat titanium scale one in AR RPM 9. Both of these are outstanding, and they're my favorite Ekkos so far. This one's like right in the $200 price point. I think this one's in maybe like $100. I'm not certain on that, but both of them are outstanding. Well, that does it for today's video. Here's another shot from 1 all the way down to 15. If there's a knife that you would have added to this list that I don't have, let us know down in the comments. What was your favorite knife at this price point that came out during 2023? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out some of these videos up here. And I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.